Hello, I'm Simon Mitchell and I'm here with Iulia David, a London-based photographer specialising in editorial, commercial and beauty portrait photography. Iulia has worked with the likes of Flern, Nails Inc. and Little Miss Mix Cosmetics and more, and been internationally published. She also teaches both beauty lighting and Photoshop high-end retouching. So what first interested you in photography?
To be honest, when I started photography, I didn't expect this to become a full-time job. And I really enjoy retouching, hence the beauty photography niche. So I started by doing makeovers, and then I said I want to retouch more, so I started doing more beauty photography. So that's why I'm into beauty now.
Well, fantastic. And you've had an amazing journey, starting by photographing friends, first of all, leading to opening a studio in London, and now a second one in Birmingham. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so when I first moved to London, I did it because I decided it's time for me to move forward. And I was living in Northamptonshire, which was quite a small area. So the only way to progress was by going to London. And also, London studios are quite expensive, so I said, like, okay, I'm going to start raising the money to rent my own studio, and then I'll just do events and just hire studio hires to make sure I'm going to get back my rent, which I did, and it worked. Everyone was like, oh, you can't do that, it won't work. Well, it did. And afterwards, I've met Matt Leach, and we decided, like, a few months ago to open a studio in Birmingham as well. That's going to be more of a photography hub. So that's a bit different than the London one, because obviously commercial clients won't really necessarily come to Birmingham, but to London they would. So I'm trying to keep them both, and obviously with Matt's help, we're going to try to promote the Birmingham studio as a sort of a photography academy for everyone.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Well, that sounds really good. And so with your London studio, from day one, how did you go about finding clients? Did you advertise or just wait for people to walk in off the street?
So because I'm shooting beauty, I need a certain type of person in front of my camera. And I was testing a lot with different models. Obviously, I wasn't really getting paid back then. And I was doing any sort of photography job, including like makeovers, still, to be able to pay my bills, until I decided I won't post those things on my page. I'm just going to post beauty to attract the sort of clients I want to get. So I was just testing a lot, and I was posting a lot on social media. That's what we spoke about earlier. And this is how my clients started to come to me, because they said, oh, she's a beauty photographer, she's specializing in beauty, let's go to her. So slowly, after a few months, I started to get bookings, and now I'm booked until June. So, yep, yes, it's busy.
Very good. And your style is known to be simple and clean with an edge. What gives you inspiration for your shoots?
Well, as you said, I do like natural looks, and I do like natural makeups as well, and lighting. And because my inspiration comes from the retouching side, weirdly. I'm not a creative necessarily photographer when it comes to lighting. I'm not very technical when it comes to lighting either. I like just a clean sort of light. So I don't have an inspiration as in, like, I'm looking at something and I think, wow, that flower is amazing, it's going to inspire me to create a shoot. Unfortunately, the reality is like, oh, she has good skin texture, I would like to retouch her skin, let's go for a natural makeup look. So it's a bit different, a different approach than other photographer has.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool, okay. And what photographic equipment do you use at the moment?
I'm using the Interfit lighting, and I'm a creative pro for them, and I'm not just trying to promote that, I actually enjoy using the lights, and they're really good.
You like using
Yes.
it, yeah. Cool. Well, it's a good system. And it can be hard to get into the beauty industry. So what tips do you have for someone wanting to get into it?
Work hard and be determined, and don't let yourself down, because there are going to be moments where you feel like crying, but you get there.
Good advice. Now, you skillfully retouch your own photos. How long did it take you to learn those skills?
I mean, it took me about 3 years until I was happy with my skills. And I spend about 2 hours per image, so I do spend a lot of time in post-processing. Yes.
So after a shoot, how many images would you hope to get from that shoot?
I don't shoot a lot. I shoot about 10 to 15 images, maybe 20, depending on the client. Obviously, that's, I mean, per look. However, when I shoot it, I know, okay, that's good for retouch, because I don't retouch more than 2-3 images per each look anyway. So
Okay, cool. And you run workshops teaching photography skills. What might one hope to learn from one of your courses?
Well, obviously the basic beauty lighting, and then I'm going through the importance of makeup and a certain beauty model, and then I'm just showing you, showing the workflow I'm using when I'm retouching my images, basically step by step. So a lot of information, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. And if somebody wanted to follow you in your footsteps, what advice would you give them?
As I said before, they just need to be determined and hardworking and go on all the social media platforms they can, test a lot, and post a lot on social media. Unfortunately, that's the way to go forward, so you have to.
So, how would you, in a nutshell, say to somebody, okay, here's social media, say Instagram, and what would they need to do to get success?
First of all, as I said, when they're testing, they need to credit everyone, they need to tag everyone, they need to share those images, they need to tag different pages that have a lot of followers so they can repost the images and they get known for it. They need to tag the makeup brands they're using, they need to make sure they start working slowly with people that have more and more followers, because obviously they will repost the images because it's their face or their makeup in there, so that's gonna give them the exposure they need.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And if somebody is interested and wants to find out more, you've got a contact website?
Yes, my website is www.iuliadavid.co.uk.
Great, thank you. I'll put that at the end here. Thank you for your time. And if you've liked this video, please click like. And if you want to see future videos, please subscribe to my channel. And there'll be more videos coming out in due course. Thank you very much.